down racial barriers on the football field, not just one time, but he did it 3 different times. I'm talking with Maryland Terps football legend Darryl Hill about what it was like changing college football in an entire region. Growing up in the 60s, Darryl Hill just wanted to play football. He never thought about breaking the color barrier in high school, but he did.
I had gone to Gonzaga, and I was the first and only black on the team.
He did it again at the Naval Academy.
I was the first African American to play football for any military academy.
Where he played with Dallas Cowboys legendary quarterback Roger Staubach.
I was a receiver, Roger was a passer, and we're still good friends to this day. And even though I went to Dallas.
Hill left the Naval Academy after 1 season. But in 1963, for the 3rd time, Hill was once again the first. Maryland Terps assistant coach Lee Corso recruited him to play wide receiver.
He said, look, we want you to come to College Park and visit the campus. I said, well, why, coach? You forgot what conference you're playing in, right? He said, well, that's just the point. The Board of Trustees in Maryland has decided that this segregated approach that the ACC has is not tenable.
Hill suited up and became the first black football player, not just for the Terps, but for the Atlantic Coast Conference and in the entire southern region. While he says Maryland welcomed him, the southern schools in the Atlantic Coast Conference did not.
Frank Howard, who was the athletic director, football coach at Clemson at the time, said, well, he come down here, he won't come out of here alive. So he said that on national television.
Then there were some fans with the verbal abuse and the constant threats.
Somebody called my dorm and said, if you go out on that field today, we're going to be in the dormitory with a high-powered rifle. And I'm out there to opening kickoff, and I'm looking up there and fumble.
Really?
And fumble.
You did?
But luckily, it hit my chest, hit the ground on the nose, and jumped right back in my arms. I ran out to the 50.
Okay.
Every time Maryland scored, they shoot this cannon off real loud, right? Wow. I scored a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. Cannon went off, and I thought they had shot me.
Hill never quit. In spite of what happened off the field, on the field, Hill excelled, setting receiving records that stood for decades. He helped change the game, and by his senior season, Maryland had recruited more black athletes.
My senior year, Billy Jones, whose name's on the building with me, came in to play basketball.
As he stands on Maryland's campus in front of the Jones Hill building bearing his name, he realizes now what he endured during the 60s was worth it.
Well, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. In fact,
even with all the conditions?
Yeah, definitely. Somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it.
Right.
And he did it, and he did it well. Hill played a brief time in the professional league in the NFL with the New York Jets, and he actually roomed with Joe Namath, the legendary Joe Namath. So the stories just don't, I got all kinds of stories I can tell you about what he told me about Joe Namath. Not bad stories. After his football days, he actually went into the restaurant industry and was a minority business owner and worked with a bunch of different operations trying to push that forward as well. So this is a guy who made changes in high school, made changes in the military academy, and then in college football all over the entire region. Huge deal and a great honor to have his name on that building out in College Park.
Important story to tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
The spirit of courage, for sure.
Absolutely.